Hey everyone, happy Friday! It's Friday and we are live at Wild Birds Unlimited in Joliet. My name's Ellen, and on Fridays we go live to tell you what's new, what's happening in the store, but also what's happening in nature. And tonight we're talking a lot about migration, so we're going to talk about what exactly is happening, why it's happening, and how we can help. So I'll give you all those tips, super nice and concise and easy, and ways that we can help our some of our favorite birds along their journey during fall migration. But quickly, I want to start off by talking about our events because if I leave it to the end, I always forget. So I want to talk real quick here about what's happening this weekend and then what's happening in September. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we have an in-store presentation called Clean and Simple Bird Feeding. So it'll give you all the tips and tricks on how to really make a mess-free, easy feeding experience. So if you would like all those tips, tricks, and good recommendations, definitely come by for it. This presentation tomorrow is for everyone. So whether you are brand new to bird feeding or you've been feeding for many years, everyone will go home with something new in their pocket, something new that they could potentially add to their system or their setup that will make it a better bird feeding experience, not only for you, but for your birds. Remember, healthy feeding station equals healthy, happy birds. And when our birds are healthy and happy, they keep returning for more. So definitely stop by for that. It's recommended to call and reserve a seat. So even if it's first thing in the morning, give us a call and reserve your seat because we do have a limited amount of seats in the store, but everyone is welcome to come to this presentation, all right? Also happening in September, we have quite a long list of things that are happening. If you go on our website, all of our September events are listed. On Facebook, I have pretty much everything up there except for like the end half of the month in September. But all the beginnings activities are already up there. In the first weekend in September, we have another art in the garden. We're doing a bird feeder craft with using a pine cone. So definitely come by for that. And on the 13th, we have Crosstown Exotics coming back to the store. They are bringing live reptiles for a nice meet and greet. So it'll be a cool activity to come by. Some of them you can touch and even hold. It's really a cool experience for everyone, kids and adults, to see some of these reptiles up close and learn a little bit about them from some of the experts at Crosstown Exotics. Other things that we have coming up in September is we have a fall native plant sale coming up. The plant list is still a little bit, the species list is in the works a little bit more, but if you would like to give a recommendation of something perhaps you would like to see at this sale, definitely put a comment in so that we can try to get that here for that plant sale. In September also, we have a really cool workshop that I partnered with Dottie's Art Studio in Plainfield, and she is an artist all in herself, but she does classes for artwork. And I know I finished reading that Amy Chan's book, The Backyard Bird Chronicles, and I think I was very inspired by all her art in her book, in her journal, right? And I thought, well, how could we learn how to do that? So I connected with Dottie, and we have come up with Avian Artistry. This workshop is featuring 4 different classes, and each one of them is a staged class, but it first starts out with pencil sketching, and then it goes to inks, then watercolor, then acrylic. Yes, it's best if you do one and then the other so that it builds upon itself. But if you can't make one of the classes, it doesn't mean that you can't participate in it. You can just jump back in on, say, the next class. But definitely the first one is definitely going to be the basics on how to do the shapes and all of that so that you can build upon it along the journey. Each class is all the supplies are provided. You're just coming to bring your creativity, and you will leave with a masterpiece each class. Two of the classes are going to be here at Wild Birds Unlimited on a Friday evening. The other two will be on a Friday evening at Dottie's Art Studio. So I hope that you can participate. All the information for this is on our website, but also this flyer is now on Facebook so that you can see all that information firsthand there as well. All right. Another cool thing that's going on right now, and I wore my shirt just to promote this really awesome promotion from the Forest Preserve District of Will County. If you haven't seen, they have a cool Labor Day promotion that's happening. It goes through September 5th, but if you spend $35 or more on their site, outsiderthreads.com, and buying their Forest Preserve merch, then you can save 20% through September 5th. So that's where I got this cool shirt. Keep the drinks coming. But other cool ones that they have is the Bird Nerd one, or What the Pack. You know, they have a lot of really cute, nice, witty, humorous shirts that are wonderful for nature lovers of all. So whether you're a bird nerd like us, or you're into raccoons or snakes or more, they have someone for everyone that is. And on top of it, the best thing about when you support the Forest Preserve by buying their merchandise, you are actually supporting all their events and activities that they provide. So keep on giving and helping the Forest Preserve so they can keep providing all the wonderful activities that we all like to participate in. But what's happening in the store, because maybe you received this email last night, so I sent out this email. There are 3 things happening in the store this weekend only that you can take advantage of. Let's go over that together. All right, so first is our No Mess 20-pound seed bag sale. So how it's working is if you purchase one 20-pound bag of No Mess, you get a second one at half off. So it's mix and match. You can do either plus regular No Mess or CC, but if you buy one, you get an equal or lesser valued bag at the same at half off. It's limited to one bag at a 50% off per customer per account. Okay, so be sure that that you come in and take advantage of that awesome sale, that awesome No Mess bag sale. But if in case you also do cylinders, or perhaps you have never tried cylinders before, this is also a great time to take advantage of the No Mess cylinder sale that we have going on. So similar to our seed bags, our 20-pound seed No Mess bags, we are doing a similar seed cylinder sale. It's buy one, get one at half off, and it includes all of the hot pepper, the regular, and the large and small sizes. But again, it's limited one cylinder at half off per customer per account. All right, so come in, check it out, stock up, because migration is here. And let me tell you, No Mess seed is packed full of the proteins and fats that they are going to need during this migration, during finishing out molting season. This is the time to be offering those high protein, high fat foods that your birds are craving this time of year seasonally, okay? In addition to our No Mess sales that we have going on, we also are running a 15% off of all of our clean and simple bird feeding accessories sale, okay? So what does clean and simple bird feeding accessories look like exactly? Well, it's all of our weather guards. So this one is just one type. We have many different types and many different colors. Also our seed hole digester. So this is something that helps clean up the area underneath the feeder, keeping it clean and tidy and bacteria and disease free. We also, all of our seed feeder brushes are all on sale, as well as our bird brushes. They help clean your feeders and keep them nice and clean and healthy so that birds are prepared to visit us again. And some other ones include our trays. So this is for a 2-feeder. It's a tray for the 2-feeder. But also every single one of our tray feeders is also on sale for the 15% off. So be sure that you come by, check that out, take advantage of this sale for Labor Day. We know that you worked hard, and we want to make sure that we make bird feeding easy peasy lemon squeezy for you, all right? Let's get to it on migration. What's been happening? Have you been checking out the news lately? If you have, or perhaps you have been on Birdcast and been tracking the migration, this is a great site. If you have not checked it out already, it's called birdcast.org. And how this site works is it's powered by Cornell, and it's a migration predictor and tracker forecaster. So each night you may go on it. So for example, up here on the big map here, this is tonight. This is what they're predicting. They're predicting 200 million birds to be moving around in North America, in the U.S. tonight. Yes, tonight. Okay, now let's see. This is tomorrow night. 219 million birds are predicted. So they are predicting the movement of birds. And yes, majority of our birds are migrating at night. And they are using the constellations and the stars to navigate. It's a pretty incredible process on how they do that. But the migration tracker gives us a good idea on where birds are going to be, where the hot spots are going to be, and potential for what to expect the next day. So let's say in Illinois, in our area in Will County, yes, you can look at the migration forecaster for your county. So you put in your county and say, hey, Will County is going to have over 2 million birds coming by. Okay, that's a hefty amount. Even if it's hundreds of thousands of birds, that's still a lot. And there are ways that we can prepare not only our yards and our homes to help these birds out. Now, it's important to remember that there are a couple of things that we can do to help these birds, right? And I'm going to go and talk about that real quick, but why I want to talk particularly about migration tonight is because it seems the experts are saying that perhaps fall migration is kick-starting a bit sooner than typical. And the reason for that is because of the many cold fronts that we're getting this early in the end of summer. So because of that, now is the time to really prepare. Let's talk about all the ways that we can help birds during fall migration. And of course, these tips and tricks also go towards spring migration, but because we're in fall migration right now, we're talking fall migration. All right, so the number one thing that we can do to help birds during fall migration is turn down our lights. And turn them down, especially turn them off on the exterior. Limit the outside lights that we are producing. And so we just talked about migration, birds migrating are primarily doing this at night. So why do we want to keep our lights off? Well, we don't want to disorient the birds. Lights can also draw them into bigger cities where perhaps they can collide, waste energy, and potentially cause, fatalities. So we want to do our best to keep them on course, not disorient them. So if we can limit the outside lights or turn them off altogether, especially between the hours of 11 p.m. and 6 a.m., that is the peak of when fall migration bird traveling happens, we are going to do a great thing for our birds. Now, of course, if you do it, that is wonderful. We thank you in advance. Now, let's spread the word and try to get as many of our friends, families, and neighbors to do the same thing. Our birds will all be better for that action. Another thing that we can do to help birds during migration is protect windows. Now, if you were on Facebook this morning, you might have seen my post, sharing this post from Feather Friendly bird collision tape. This one, I thought this was such a great post. So this is the image that was with it, but essentially 94%, at least 94% drop in bird collisions at McCormick Place since last year. It is pretty awesome. So it says this, so since they had 94% fewer collisions this spring versus last spring. Now, you know, they had over 150 birds averaged found each day in spring. That was a hefty loss that we had. But thank goodness that McCormick Place did their due diligence and helped our bird species out by protecting and doing using feather-friendly window collision tape on their windows to prevent bird collisions. And guess what? It's not all up to the big corporations, the big buildings. Bird collisions happen all the time, and they can happen more frequently during migration. And that is why it's important that we also take our top steps to protect birds from our windows. Why do we want to protect them from our windows? Well, they don't see the windows the same as you and I. Many times they see that reflection. So at night, yes, it can be dangerous because they don't see the window and they'll collide. In the morning, it's equally as dangerous because the sunlight is now projecting the view of the reflection, and birds, again, don't see the window the way we do. So that is why you can use feather-friendly products like the window collision tape. These have a roll of tape that you apply to your on the exterior of your window, and it provides a pattern so that the birds can see the markers and thus know that that is not a fly-through. It is a window, and it's not something that they can go into. So it prevents the collisions itself. Another couple of great options that we have that are a little bit less permanent. These are somewhat have a 10-year lifespan. So these can last up to 10 years. Whereas these are a little bit more temporary, if you will, because they are more like a static cling. So window alert works because the decals themselves have a UV protection on them, and birds see that UV. So while we don't see pretty much anything, we kind of see a silhouette of a little grayed leaf in this case. The birds, in fact, see that UV in the decal very clearly, and that helps protect them from colliding with the window because they know, again, that there is, in fact, something there. They cannot pass through. Window gems are another great option to use to protect your birds from colliding with your windows. Instead of using a UV, these window gems have that nice prismatic effect on them. So they come in different packs with a variety of different decals. I just grabbed a couple here to show you. A little bees and hummingbirds and cardinals and butterflies, feathers. We have just about all sorts of kinds of window gems to put on your windows, but not only do they look beautiful for you inside with that prismatic effect coming through the window, but also it's protecting the windows. So consider putting some window decals up, whether it's window decals or the window tape that's a little bit more permanent to keep our birds safe during migration. It's a big thing that we can do. The third thing we can do is provide water. And I know I talk about providing water all the time. I just wanted to say how important it is with many, many birds traveling. They are going to be hungry and thirsty. So we know that you can attract a lot of these migrating visitors right to your own yard simply by having the sound of moving water going. So maybe you're going to see extra warblers or birds that you may never have seen otherwise because they're stopping in for a sip of water or to bathe and condition their feathers. So that's the third thing that you can provide. The fourth and final thing I would recommend doing during fall migration is to keep those feeders full with those high fats, high protein foods to make sure that the birds have enough energy and nutrition they need to continue their journey. Now, of course, this is another. There's a second part to this. So yes, it's really important to keep feeders full and making sure that we are providing the things nutritionally that they need. But the other part to that is adding more feeders, because we are projected to have many more birds each day during migration as they migrate through. It could be a wise thing to do to put out more feeders and spread them out a bit. Because there is going to be more mouths potentially in your area, we want to make sure that there is no stress happening for these birds, right? They're already traveling, expending so much energy and nutrition just doing the traveling. We don't need them to get stressed out because of limited seats at the dinner table. So if you can provide perhaps an extra feeder, right? An extra feeder with extra seats at your kitchen, you're going to help the birds tremendously. And it's not just because they're going to have extra seats and they won't be so stressed. It's just so that, and then on top of that, you're going to be able to take advantage of the bounty of birds that are in your backyard. So be sure that you're doing the 4 things to help your birds out. Provide water. Keep those feeders full with high protein, high fat foods, and make sure to spread them out or add more feeders so we don't stress out birds. Number 2, make sure that we're protecting windows. Make sure that you have the decals on them, or that you are somehow eliminating the reflection on the outside of the window. All right, closing the window blinds does not necessarily help unless they are on the outside of the glass. Okay, if you close the window blinds, that you don't see the reflection anymore, but the birds still see the reflection from the outside. And then finally, the most important thing you can do to help birds during migration is to turn or eliminate outside light during fall migration. And it's specifically during the hours of 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Don't help the birds out. Be a welcome, put out the welcome mat for them. These are some of the last few months that we are going to see some of these visitors until next year during spring migration. So enjoy it while it's here, all right? Take advantage of it. And be sure you stop by and take advantage of our no mess sales and our clean and simple bird feeding accessory sale while it's going on during Labor Day. Don't forget also, on Monday, September 1st, the store will be closed. So be sure you stop in and shop with us, or use my WBU online and shop anytime, anywhere you'd like. All right, guys, unless you have any questions tonight, put them in the comments if we're done with the live, but I will, of course, always answer them. I always love to hear about what's happening in your yard, what birds you're seeing, what new faces you're seeing during migration. It's a fun time of year. So be sure that you're witnessing all the beauty that your backyard has to offer. All right, we'll see you next time. Happy Friday, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye now.